Welcome to my channel Panvaira Citadel, and in the last video we saw problems related to age, profit and loss and percentage pertaining to chapter 5 mathematical reasoning and aptitude. And in this video we are going to discuss about chapter 6, which is logical reasoning, a very important chapter from NET point of view. And many questions are asked from this chapter. It may appear to be slightly difficult or confusing in the beginning, but actually it is not so. It is very easy. If only you approach the problems with positive attitude that I can do it, there is no fear, I know the rules, I can tackle it. So in that way, if you approach the problems, you can easily solve all the problems and go through each and every slide of this video, and some of the tables you have to learn by heart. So if only you know the rules, you can very easily solve the problems on syllogism, which we shall discuss today. What is syllogism and how we are going to solve the problems. In fact, I should have come out with this video a little bit earlier, but anyway, I've got 10 or 15 days for NET exam to go. So still you've got ample time. You go through the rules, learn the tables by heart and approach the problems with positive attitude that I can do it. It is so simple with no fear in your mind whatsoever. All right. Before getting into problems on syllogism, you should know what is logical reasoning. Mathematical reasoning you have already seen. It involves numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication. It involves all numbers and calculations. But in logical reasoning, no numbers involved, but you are going to infer, deduce some meanings from the statements given. So whether it is right or wrong, whether what could be true if something is false, and if something is true, what could be false, things like that. It is thinking, the reasoning. It may be deductive or inductive. All those theories we will see later, maybe in the next video. In this video, we will see syllogism problems because it's very important and many questions are asked in NET. And so now you know what is logic. Logic is something with reason. So whatever you say with reason is correct. Without reasoning, if you say something, it will be fault or invalid. So for time being, this definition is enough. And what is syllogism? It is a form of reasoning in which some prepositions, you can call prepositions as statements. You can call prepositions as premises. They are just sentences. So they are in syllogism, statements are given, maybe one statement or two or three, and from which a conclusion is drawn. And you are going to find out whether the conclusion could be right or wrong, whether it could be valid or invalid. That is all syllogism is about. And usually two or more statements or prepositions or premises are given, followed by two or more conclusions again. And you have to test each and every conclusion individually. This point is very important. You cannot test all the conclusions together, whether it is true or false. You have to take each and every conclusion one by one. All right, get this straight into your head. The conclusions ought to be tested individually on the basis of the given statements. And you need not go into the logic of the given statements. The given statements, you assume they are true. And so sometimes they say all dogs are cats. Don't start questioning how can a dog be a cat. We are not going into that. So you assume that all dogs are cat in this situation. Okay. Based on the statement, you have to verify whether the conclusion given following the statement is true or not. Now, let's learn something more about the preposition, because there is a theory called theory of preposition proposed by Aristotle, the Greek philosopher Aristotle, and about that we will be learning more in the next video. But now there are certain things about prepositions that you ought to know before solving the problems on syllogism. What are they? Prepositions or statements, as I told you, it can be also called as statements or premises. And these statements tell us about the relationship between two or more items. They tell us about the relationship between two or more items, or between elements, or between subject and predicate. You know, subject in English and predicate. So they tell us, these statements tell us about the subject and predicate. The examples for prepositions are, look here, all men are mortal. So பிறந்தவங்கெல்லாம் இறந்து தான் போகணும் இல்லையா? இது ஒரு உண்மையான ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். இதை பத்தி நீங்க டவுட்டே பட வேண்டாம். So here, so always I have told you, don't start analyzing. See, this is another preposition. Some men are honest. And all doors are mats. This is another premises. All doors are mats. So never start analyzing. How can a door be a mat? That is not our botheration here. It is given in the preposition. You assume it to be correct. Then you test your conclusion. Okay, don't, it cannot be so. It is given in the statement, that's all. No laptop is a mouse. As you see here, some of the sentences are positive. All men are mortal. Affirmative sentence. Positive sentence. And some men are honest. That is also positive. And all doors are mats. Positive or affirmative sentence. And no laptop is a mouse. That is a negative sentence, isn't it? No, never, nothing. All these things are negative. So now coming to the structure of the preposition. You should remember that each preposition has a structure, a format. And what does it contain? Every statement contains a quantifier, a subject, a copula or a qualifier, and predicate. And they are in the same order as I have told. First comes the qualifier, quantifier, then comes subject, then copula or the qualifier, and then predicate. So take for example, all human beings are mammals. This is a preposition and it is a positive and affirmative sentence. And here all is the quantifier because it denotes some number, all, many, much, majority of them, or each and every. So all these are called quantifier. And next comes the subject. What is the subject here? Human beings. Like in any English sentence, what we are talking about in the statement is the subject. Whom we are talking about the human beings. So that is the subjects. And copula is the qualifier. It qualifies. Are. The verb are is the qualifier here. What does it qualify? It states that all the human beings are mammals. It shows the relationship between human beings and mammals. Suppose it says all human beings are not mammals. That is also another statement, but negative statement. And here, what is the qualifier? Or not. Okay, that is the qualifier because it shows the relationship between human beings and mammals. They are not. That is also qualifier. And mammals is the predicate because predicate tells more about the subject, human beings. So you got it? So each preposition has a structure and which has a quantifier, subject, copula and qualifier. Copula is also called as qualifier and predicate in the same order. And now you know what is a quantifier. It quantifies, it measures something, it counts something. And subject is what we are talking about, and copula is the qualifier, which actually denotes the relationship, whether are they or are they not. That is the qualifier. And then the predicate. Here the predicate is nouns. Okay. And these sentences are also called as categorical preposition. What is categorical preposition? They are unconditional. There is no condition attached to it. All these statements, look at it. Some men are honest, all men are mortal, and all doors are mats, and no laptop is a. All these are categorical. It says categorically, that is, whether this is that or whether this is not that. So such sentences are called categorical preposition. On the other hand, there are certain prepositions which are called conditional preposition. Why? Because some condition is attached to it. And it can be, the conditional preposition can be of two types, hypothetical preposition or disjunctive preposition. What is hypothetical preposition? A condition is attached. For example, if I say, if you clear NET, you can get into your university. So there is a condition attached. If you clear NET, that is the condition. So it is a conditional preposition. So, and in this case, it is a hypothetical preposition. If you clear NET, you can get into your university. We are assuming that you are clearing NET and you can get into any university. So this is hypothetical conditional preposition. What is the other type? Disjunctive conditional preposition. Example, you can write the exam either in Tamil or in English. You can write the exam either in Tamil, not a NET exam. So you can write the exam either in Tamil or in English. This is again a conditional preposition, but disjunctive. You got it? I have not given slides for this because this is only theory. Any book on preposition will give you this. So you just understand. So all these statements which come under syllogism are unconditional preposition. There are no conditions attached. No if, either this or that. That is not there in categorical preposition. The statement or the premises categorically says the relationship between the subject and qualifier, whether this is that or this is not that, or these are these and these are not these. So they categorically state the relationship between the subject and predicate. That is why we say it categorical preposition, no conditions attached. All right. See this types of categorical preposition. There are 4 types of categorical prepositions, and they are called, you have to mark this 4 types, but it's very easy. You need not mark the example. You just look at the example and you will come to know how to categorize them. So you have to know what is A type, what is E type, what is I type, what is U type, O type. Otherwise, you cannot do any problem on syllogism. Okay. Now we'll see. This is the easy way to remember. You know the vowels in English. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U. Same order. A, E, I, O. That's all. Only 4 types of categorical prepositions are there. A, E, I, O. No U. Okay. So you need not remember that. Vowels. First 4 vowels. First one, A type is universal positive, or otherwise known as universal affirmative. You know, all affirmative sentences are positive sentences. It denotes positive meaning. And the next step, AU. Remember the vowels in the same order. A, E, I, O. Not A, I, O. Then everything will go wrong. It is very easy to remember this way. Then E type. It is universal negative. So first one is universal positive. The second type is universal negative, which is called E type. Look at the example, universal positive, all A are B, all men are mortal, all ladies are beautiful. Don't ask me, you're not going to analyze the question, how can all the ladies be beautiful? No, that is not our problem now. You classify them, what type of preposition it is. So it is a positive, so affirmative. And it talks about all ladies. So that means universal. Okay. And universal affirmative is A type. So the first line, all these are examples for A type of preposition. And the next type is E type, which is universal negative. So it should be negative statements. And it talks about everybody, universal. So no A or B, negative sentence, and no A or B. And no men are mortal. Again, negative, universal negative. And no ladies are beautiful. Got it? Universal negative. And next type is I type. It talks about only particular people, specific people. And I is particular positive and O type is particular negative. So it's very easy to remember. First two types are universal. The first one is universal positive. The next one is universal negative. And the third and fourth are particular, talking about particular people, particular flowers, particular men, particular ladies. The third and fourth type. And the third type is particular positive, called I type, and the last one is particular negative, O type. And for example, for I type are some A are B. See, again the same thing. First one is the quantifier, some. A is the subject, R is the qualifier, and B is the predicate. So same structure for all the preposition. And some men are mortal. Again, positive sentence, but we are talking about only some men. So particular positive. And some ladies are beautiful. Again, positive sentence, talking about only particular people. So it is I type statement. And O type is negative, but particular. Some A are not B. This is a negative sentence. So we are talking about only few people. So particular, negative, O type. Some men are not mortal. The same sentence we are converting it. Okay. And some ladies are not beautiful. Negative sentence and talking about particular people. So this one you should know. And this classification of the categorical preposition is given again by Aristotle. All right. Regarding the types of categorical prepositions, that A, E, I, O types. Always remember to draw this square for some of the problems. I will tell you later on when to draw. Remember this square. Here A, E, and at bottom I and O. And A is universal positive, universal affirmative. And E is universal negative. And I is particular positive, O is particular not. Some are not. All are, no one is, some are not. Alright, these are the four types of statements. While categorizing the preposition, the statements into A type, E type, I type, always look for the meaning, because the last slide I showed it was very clear cut, which is A, I, all, always, all are, many of, most of them, or each and every. So that is universal positive, that is very clear. But very few are a little bit confusing, don't get confused. For example, A type statements, you will have the quantifier as all, any, each and every. And even if they say without all, students are clever. If they just give, students are clever. So what is the quantifier here? You should take it as all students. Okay? If they just give, students are clever. Boys are clever. Boys are naughty. Girls are beautiful. So without any quantifier, there is no all there, no none there, no one there. In that case, you should take it as all. It is hidden quantified. Okay. And in the same way, some statement, usually they don't give, but suppose they say Ram is honest. That means all wrong. Okay. Grammatically, it may not be correct, but just if they give Sita is honest. All Sita, the entire Sita. So it is A, universal A type. And also, one more thing, important thing is, all except one is present in the class. So present, that is positive, is present. So qualifier state, it is a positive affirmative statement. But all except one, even then also it is universal A. So one is permissible, one exception, the number one, either this way or that way. It is considered as universal, not particular. So if they give all except one is sick, it's a positive statement. And here all but one, all except one, that means it is all. Okay, only one person, one number is permissible, allowed. In the same way, in the universal negative E type also, you know the quantifier, no student, none, nothing, never, all these are, no one is, all these are denotes universal negative. Sometimes, suppose this statement, no one except Magesh can do this. It's a positive or a negative statement? It's a negative statement. No one can do this. Okay. Except Magesh, only one. Only one is exception. One exception is allowed. Both in all or and no one is, one exception is allowed both in positive and negative sense. Okay. So no one except Magesh can do this is universal negative, E type. So only this is a little bit confusing, but all the other you will get to know easily. And for example, for some are positive, some particular positive I type, you have this quantifier, some, certain, a few, almost all. See, only one is exceptional, one number is exceptional, but almost all does not mean universal A, it means only some are. Alright? A few is again I type. Almost all is only some are, I type. Many people are good. It is not all. It is some are, particular, I. Generally, all are present. Generally, many are present. Again, I. Okay. And for O type, that is universal, I mean particular, negative, particular. Particular is also called as specific or existential. Sometimes they make you the term existential, also particular. Okay. Here, some are not beautiful. Some ladies, it's obviously you can find it. But suppose they say, seldom any student come to the class. Seldom means some don't come to the class. Some are not present in the class. Hardly any student come. Negative. Why? Not many come. So hardly any student come. Also, some are not. Negative. Negative O type. You understand? This you should remember as a few exceptions. If they give a little bit tough statement, you should know how to classify. No student except a few are present. This is again O type. No student except a few are present. That means very few are present. Some are not. Many are not. Even many. In that case, it is O only. Some are not present. A few students are not present. O. And also, all students are not clever. All students are not clever. All that glitters are not gold. So you may immediately think they are universal negative E, but it is O. Why? Because all that glitters are not gold. Not all that glitters are gold. That means only some are really gold, but the rest are not gold, but they are glittering. So all not also means some not, O type. You should remember this, because usually students make confusion in this term. So all not is always taken as some not. All students are not clever. All PG students are not clever. What does it mean? Some are clever, some are not. So you take the meaning. And so it is only some or not. You should not classify it as E type, but it is O type. Only these things you should remember. And also learn to draw this square. It's the same thing, AEIO type, but here I have written as written in the form of a square, and always in the square you write A here, and opposite to that E. Universal affirmative is A, universal negative is E, and particular positive is I, particular negative is O. Write in this way, and you can just to practice. And here you write all are, no one is in E, and some are I type and some are not O type, and all not is also O type. All, remember this, all not is also O type, some are not. Meaning is remember this proverb, all that glitters is not gold. So that means some glitterings are gold, some glitterings are fake. Something else. So all not means some or not. So you should take the meaning. Okay, remember this, practice to classify the categorical statement. There should not be any confusion whatsoever. And some of the characteristics of the categorical proposition as given by Aristotle are implication, Venn diagram, reduction. Reduction can be of the type, 4 types: conversion, obverted contraposition, obversion, contraposition. So don't get scared by these terms. We will come to know what are they, what is the actual meaning. When they are solving the problem, I will explain them. But just now, it is enough if you know that some of the characteristics of the categorical proposition is implication, Venn diagram, induction, and these are the characteristics of categorical preposition. We will go one by one later. You will understand better when I give you solve the problem with examples, right? See, these are some of the important points while doing the syllogism problem. You should remember. What are they? A positive statement will always give a positive conclusion. Suppose they give one statement and one conclusion. If the given statement is of the positive type, then it may be universal positive or particular positive, then your conclusion will always be a positive one. And if one statement is given and one conclusion, if the statement is negative, then your conclusion will be negative. So this is immediate inference. What is inference? Coming to a conclusion is inference. And suppose, and all the given other 4s are mediate reference. Mediate reference means you are going to use 2 statements. In immediate reference, inference, you are using only one statement, single statement, and you are checking that statement and one conclusion, and you are testing that conclusion whether it could be true based on the given preposition. So that is immediate inference. Coming to a conclusion using only one statement, that is immediate inference. And mediate inference, you are coming to the conclusion after considering two statements. They are called mediate inference. Okay, you are using two statements, and if the first statement is positive and the second one is positive, then your conclusion will also be positive. And if the first statement is positive, the second one negative, your conclusion will be negative. And also the reverse order, the first statement negative, second statement positive, and then also your conclusion will be negative. And both the statements are negative, then you cannot come to any conclusion at all. This you remember. Okay, it's a tip to remember. So only one statement you are testing the conclusion, that means immediate inference. And if the single statement is positive, it will always give a positive conclusion. And if that single statement is negative, your conclusion will also be negative. And if you are using two statements to test your conclusion, it is called mediate inference. And if both are positive, your conclusion will be positive. One negative, one positive, then also your conclusion will be negative. And in both the order, the first sentence may be negative or the second one may be negative. Both the way you will get a negative conclusion. And if both the statements are negative, there is no conclusion at all. You cannot come to a conclusion. So just remember this. See, Venn diagram. I told you some of the characteristics of categorical proposition is Venn diagram. That using the proposition, you can draw Venn diagram. Here we will see for all the four types of categorical proposition: A type, E type, and I type, O type. How to draw the Venn diagrams? You know Venn diagrams we have already discussed. And for these four types of categorical proposition, A type, that is all are. All, for example, all A are B. So these two are universal. A type and E type are, we are calling universal statement pertaining to all, universal. And I type, O type are particular. So these two are particular. So first A type statement, all A are B. So this circle, inner circle is A is contained in B. Then only all A will become B. Okay. This type of Venn diagram you should draw for A type of preposition. All A's are B. The A should be contained in the B, bigger circle. And the next is E type, that no one is. So no A is B. So you draw two circles separately without overlapping. So A is separate, B is separate, no overlapping. So no A is B, no B is A. Alright. So these two Venn diagrams for universal positive, universal negative, A and E type. And for particular prepositions, the I type and O type of prepositions, how do you draw the Venn diagram? This one is for the I type. What is I type? Some are particular, positive. Some A are B, isn't it? So here is A and here is B, and there is overlapping in some part. There is overlapping. So let me not confuse you. I will erase this. So some A is B. This part, some A is B. And again, O type, again particular, but negative. Some are not. Some A are not B. See here, this part is not. I'm sorry, this part is, the shaded part is not B. Some part of A is B. Some part of A is not B. The both are same, but here we are talking about this thing, this shaded part. Some A are B. But in this Venn diagram, we are talking about this part, the shaded part, where some A are not B. You got it? So all the four type of categorical preposition A, E, I, O can be represented in the form of Venn diagram. While solving the problems, you can just use Venn diagrams or analytical method. It all depends on the context. Whichever thing is easier, you can do. Or you can use both and check the correctness. If you are using analytical method, and you can check by drawing the Venn diagram whether your answer is correct. We will see it later while solving the problem. Okay. See, here we are going to, here you see a chart, and you should learn this chart by heart after understanding it. Okay. See, this chart denotes the types of inferences or the types of conclusion. Inference is conclusion or the decision we arrive at based on the statements given or the premises given. So inferences is of two types. I told you already, they are intermediate and mediate. I'm sorry, immediate and mediate. Immediate is you are using only one statement. Just one proposition will be given and you can draw the conclusion from that statement. That is immediate inference, and that is of three types: deduction, square of opposition, and implication. See, this square of opposition, right now in this video we are not going to deal. I'll put a separate video on square of opposition. Okay, we are not going to use it. We are going to see all the other type. And so immediate means you are using only one preposition. Mediate means two statements are used. Okay, two or more statements. It could be two or more, and that is mediate inference. And that is where your syllogism questions comes. And all here in syllogism, some two or three statements will be given, and following which conclusions are given: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any number. And you are going to test each and every conclusion one by one based on the statements given. That is syllogism. We will see the problems. That is mediate, where you are using two or more statements. And if you are going to use only one statement, it is immediate inference. And it can be of deduction type or square of opposition or implication. Implication is very, very simple. I'll see the Venn diagram. I told you, no, the Venn diagram. See the A type. Here A, and this is B. And what is it? All A is B. A is contained in B. All A's are B. And some A are B. True or not? Yes, if all A's are B, some A's are B statement should be true. That is implication. Okay? If the proposition given is all A are B, that is given. But implied meaning, the hidden meaning, it is not stated explicitly. Implicit is the opposite of explicit. It is not stated outwardly, but it is, the meaning is hidden there. If I say all students should come tomorrow, all students must attend the class tomorrow, will you ask, will Ramesh ask, Madam, should I also come? Won't I shout at him? When I say all class, it includes Ramesh also. That is implication. Okay, the implied meaning is that everybody, X and Y, Ramesh, Suresh, Harish, everybody should come. So all A are B. That statement implies some A's are B. So that is implication. It's very simple. And deduction, as I have told you, deduction is of four types. One is conversion. Another one is, earlier we have seen it. We just saw the names of it, terms. Now you should learn these. What are they? Just by heart this. It's very simple, and you just learn this. The same order. It is always, when you want to remember by heart it, the order is important, because if you give the same order, the next item will automatically come to your mind. Okay, so learn them in the same order. Conversion first. These are four types of deduction. So they may ask you in the MCQ, these are the following or the deduction types, or they may give you a conversion, B or butter, they might put implication there. Implication is not deduction. Okay, it is a separate thing. Or they may include the square of opposition and the reduction. So reduction means it is a four type: conversion, aborted contraposition, aversion and contraposition. What are they? Conversion is very simple. You are interchanging the subject and the predicate. The subject go to the predicate place and the predicate goes to the subject place. That is just conversion. Okay. And what is the aborted contraposition? You do the inversion, that is you interchange the subject and predicate first and then negate both subject and predicate. What is negation? Negation is not. So if your subject is A, how will you negate it? Non-A. If your subject is books, how will you negate it? Non-books. See, all books are notebooks. How will you negate it? All non-books are non-notes. Just add the word non in front of subject and predicate. Non also means negative not, but we don't want a confusion between non and not, because already we have used not for negative statement. Here non means negation, you are negating it. Okay, so just learn this, don't get frightened, it's all simple. So what is aborted contraposition is you are interchanging the subject and predicate and you are negating both subject and predicate. You are adding non to both subject and predicate. And the third type, aversion, what does it mean? You change the quality. What is quality? You know already what is a qualifier. In your preposition, the qualifier is or is not, or are or are not, which shows the relationship. It qualifies the relationship between the subject and the predicate. That is the uh, qualifier. And you change the quality. If the preposition says they are, how will you change they are not? Add not, quality. You are changing the quality. If the preposition contains not there, if they are not, you remove the not. You are changing the quality. Alright? And negate only predicate. You add non, then non before the predicate only, not both. And contraposition means all this, both this plus some more. Changing the quality, negates only the predicate, put non before the predicate and interchange it with subject. After negating the predicate, you put it in the place of the subject and subject goes to the place of the predicate. So it includes this plus some more. Okay, that is why if you learn it in the order, same order, you will remember. Conversion is just interchanging the subject and the predicate. And aborted contraposition is interchanging plus negating both the subject and predicate. Both you should add non. And abortion is change the quality. Quality means if the preposition, original preposition contains not, you remove it. You are changing the quality. If it does not contain not, it just contains are, you add not or not. You are changing the quality. And negate only the predicate. Add non before the predicate. And in contraposition, you are changing the quality, you are negating the predicate and you are interchanging with the subject. So remember, learn this chart by heart. All this may be, each and everything may be asked in the MCQ. Suppose they say two statements are used for arriving at the conclusion or for testing the validity of the conclusion. It is called mediate or immediate inference implication. Then you should say it is two statements are used, mediate. Only one statement is used, immediate. Anything can be asked. Both the theory is also tested in the syllogism questions. See, here I have given you a chart. This is regarding the distribution of subject and predicate. We have told in a categorical preposition what is the subject and what is the predicate. When we saw the structure of the preposition, it contains a subject and it contains a predicate. You know how to identify the subject and predicate and the quantifier and the qualifier. Now this chart is also about the theory of proposition as proposed by Aristotle. Now mug this, because it's very difficult to, it's a long thing which I don't think it is needed for you right now, and so it is enough if you know what is the distribution of subject and predicate. The A type, you know all the four types, you know A, E, I, O, U, and the easy way to remember this, subject is distributed, D means distributed, and predicate is undistributed for A type. The and exact opposite is in the O type, where the subject is undistributed and predicate is distributed. Alright, A and O are exactly the reverse. And E type, both are distributed, both subject and predicate are distributed, and in I type both are undistributed. Just learn this by heart. Okay, what is distribution, non-distribution? We will learn later. Okay, you draw the columns and the rows and try to, you know, just if you put it 2 times, you can learn it by heart. The topmost A type is exactly the reverse of the O type. And E type both are distributed, I is both are undistributed, both subject and predicate. Okay. See here, this slide shows some rules in theory of proposition, and these rules you should learn by heart. Somehow you mug it. It's not very difficult to mug it. So you know what is conversion now, what is subversion, and what is averted contrapositions, and what is contraposition in the previous slide. And see, these rules you should know. Only conversion of E and I are valid, and A into I is only valid. All the other conversions are not valid. You know what is conversion? Conversion means that is changing the subject and predicate. So conversion of E is valid, conversion of I is valid, but A into I is only valid. You cannot convert A into A type. Okay? And all aversions are valid. So AEIOU, all 4 types of statements. If you do aversions, you know what is aversion from the previous slide. So that is valid. And averted contraposition, if you are doing it, A and O, the averted contrapositions of A and O are valid. And in the same way, contraposition also A and O are valid. Other 2 types are not valid. Okay, you learned this by heart. And also implication, that is from immediate inference, only A, E, I are valid, and implication from O is invalid. And also learn this, all implies some. When I say all A or B, that means some A or B is valid. And no implies some not. No apples are mangoes. That means some apples are not mangoes. True. And some implies some. Some apples are mangoes, and some apples are not mangoes. Okay. And some not implies nothing. Okay. Some A is not apple does not imply anything. Implication means the hidden meaning, the implied meaning. So you have to learn these by heart. Some 6 or 7 slides you have to learn by heart. See this table you must mug. You must learn it by heart. This is the 2 types of immediate inference. What is immediate inference? That you can use only one statement and come to a conclusion. That is immediate inference. And it is of 2 types. One is implication and one is conversion. They are both are used in immediate inference. And for the immediate implication, if A type statement is given, you can imply I type statement. A to I is possible, and E to O type is possible, valid, but I not valid, and O you cannot imply anything. From O type of statements, no implication can be found. You got it? So one statement is A type statement is given and conclusion is given as I type, then you can very well say it follows. Correct. And one statement, single statement, E type statement is given and conclusion O type is given, then you can say it is true, valid, correct. But otherwise I type statement, O type, you cannot conclude anything, so it is invalid. No, it does not follow. And also in the conversion is also one type of immediate inference where the subject predicate are reversed. In implication it is hidden meaning, and conversion subject and predicate are reversed. And A to I is possible, E to E is possible, I to I is possible, but O you cannot convert O type of statement. And A into A is not possible, A into I is only possible. Remember this. So you have to learn this by heart. Only then you can answer the MCQs or even some of the problems you can solve. So you learn this table by heart. See, this table is for mediate inference. What is mediate inference? Remember, we have told mediate inference is when you take into consideration two statements are used. Two statements are used in order to check the conclusion. Okay, that is mediated inference in contrast to immediate inference where only one statement is used. And this is the table for mediate inference where two statements, the first column shows the first statement and the type of the first statement, and the second column, this column shows the second proposition or the second premise. So the first one is A, the second statement is A type, then your conclusion will be of A type. And if the first statement is A, the second is E type, then it will give you E type conclusion is valid. And if your first statement is E type and the second is A type and your conclusion, valid conclusion, the correct conclusion is O star. O star means the O type but with the interchanged subject and predicate. O star is O type statement. We know O type is particular negative. O star is particular negative but with the subject and predicate is interchanged. And E plus I type. First statement E type, second premise I type, then you will get a valid conclusion is O star type. And first premise I type, second premise A, and you will get a conclusion of I type. And first premise I type, second one E type, then you will get a O type. Okay, this chart you should know by heart. Hello viewers, we have come to the end of the video. The problems on syllogism, the video on problems, how to work out problems in syllogism is immediately following. I have made it into a single video, but it has become too long video, so I have cut it into two videos. So this part I am ending with all the theory part of the syllogism, theory of prepositions and the tables which you have got to learn by heart. And with that, I'm ending this video. The following video contains 6 problems to work out, how to solve problems in syllogism. Please don't fail to watch it and learn the problems, how to solve it. That is also important. From theory part also some questions are expected. So watch both the videos. Thank you.